Good morning, guys. Fleabay edition here, but also a little bit of a commentary on new lathe owners or new machine owners. And this is going to apply to any of the little Atlas machines, whether it's a lathe, a mill, a shaper, and basically any new machine you're buying, no matter where, whether it's Fleabay or not. If you are a brand new to this owner looking to get started with your first machine, first used machine here, I got some advice that I'm going to give you at the end because I think it's kind of important and I think it might be helpful for some. So if you're interested in that, be sure and stick around to the end of this. So we're going to start off with Atlas shapers right off the bat. Here there is a new listing for a Atlas lathe mill shaper motor, half horse, 1725. They want $225 and $52.61 shipping. And you can go and look at these. I'm not going to go into part of these on stuff like this. We've talked about motors. I just now talked about motors. $225. Now this is not a bad looking motor, although it's not. Well, let's look at it, I guess. Original Atlas lathe mill shaper motor, half horsepower, 1725 RPM, 110, 200. Used, excellent condition. Excellent for $225. I'm already going to tell you no. If you like nice equipment and have an excellent Atlas lathe miller shaper, this is a motor for you. Motor's original with original paint. Cosmetics are great. Runs cool. Pulley runs true. New cord with grounded plug. Bearings are very good. Just a little noise slowing down. I don't think it's worth the effort to replace them yet. Half horse, 1725, 3.5-inch pulley. So, and then this motor is 33 pounds before packing, so expect an irritating shipping charge. Well, it's $52. So, yeah, $52 is pretty irritating for a half horsepower motor. Look at the big pictures very quickly. Nice looking motor. Pulley on the end, not an original pulley. So, yeah, it should run true if the bearings were even halfway decent. So, not original there. Good looking motor. You know, it's a ball bearing motor, so it's a little bit later motor. Been cleaned up. It's got some scratches and stuff. All in all, not a bad looking motor. So this is what you got. Reversible, you know. Now you look at these bottom feet, that's a little bit of rust down in there and stuff. It's scarred up back here. You know, you got a little bit of rust. This is not an excellent motor because none of these motors are excellent motors. You know, it's a used motor. We just talked about motors in the last one. Pretty modern looking plug, whether that's, you know, what you want on your machine or not. Now it does have a new plug. So we put a plug on it instead of being directly wired to a machine. It's not wired for a switch at all. So, you know, these motors, back to the same old thing. If you're paying $52.61 shipping, another $50 for the motor. It's not worth more than $100. Used motor is not worth more than $100. As I said before, $40-50 for a motor. This one's pretty good looking. So, you know, if I saw this at a yard sale, something like that, I might give $60 for it. No more than that. Okay, moving on. Now, this is the only other thing under shapers, and this is a Atlas 7B metal shaper. $1,300 starting bid. Buy it now, $1,700. And there's another machine from this same seller that we'll get to here directly. $1,300, and description says 7B shaper, owned this little shaper for quite some time, 10 plus years. Spent its life with me cutting the occasional internal keyway. New Harbor Freight motor installed years ago. So it's not a new Harbor Freight motor, it was installed years ago. Original motor is included, but I've never seen it run, which means this probably was a three-phase motor, would be my guess. Lantern-style tool holder and two shopmate holders for cutting keyways included. Small vise also included. Let's see, there's only 4 pictures here. Let's just look at the big pictures for the sake of moving right along. It's on a stand. It's a 7B, got the foot underneath it. Imported vise. Now, the other machine he's got has the same style vise on it. This is one of the smaller imports for something or other. It's a functional vise. You know, it's on an aluminum base plate if you go and look closer. The thing that I wonder about on this, it's not a bad looking machine. You know, motor's not original. It's kind of grungy looking, but it's a relatively complete machine. Looks pretty good all in all. The one thing that I do see on this, and I don't know this is just a point of interest, you look at the color of the paint compared to the rest of the machine, and then when we look at the other pictures, there's a guard on the other side. When you kind of look at the color and everything, I question whether this is a original guard or if this is a reproduction. and it's an aluminum guard from looking at it. And I can't say for sure, it could possibly be one of my guards that I reproduce. And if he's had it for 10 plus years, who knows? You know, I've done these off and on for years and years and years, and it's just been probably the last 2 or 3 years that I've tried to keep them in stock, or always had one in stock, and kind of reintroduced them when I started reproducing Atlas parts again. So anyway, that's kind of interesting. Rest of the pictures here, there's a little bit better picture. You know, color's off a little bit. It's scraped and beat up and everything. And whether it's, you know, like I say, whether it's one of mine or not, I don't know. This looks pretty yucky on the end of this table. I hadn't noticed that before. The handles look to be not broken off, which you don't have. You've only got this one, and then that's pretty much it, I think, handle-wise. This handle, I've seen those broken off and brazed, and mine actually, I believe, is probably broken off and been brazed before I bought it. So all in all, not a bad-looking machine. There's tool holders. You know, that looks to be an original tool holder. Whatever else is there is kind of shop-built stuff. Machine looks pretty grungy, pretty grimy and dirty and stuff. Not tremendously bad, but it's seen some use and some abuse, I believe, over the years. So, you know, it wouldn't be a bad machine to have. Is it worth $1,700? No. You know, on these machines, $1,000. If they're more than $1,000, why, they're not worth it. So anyway, that is all we had under shapers. If we go to milling machines, first thing listed is that same motor. So that's, you know, we won't even go there again. The second one is the other machine from that seller, and it's an Atlas MF horizontal milling machine. $1,300. Now, it does already have one bid on it. I don't know if it did before. You know, these machines are worth $1,000 is all I'm going to say they're worth for. Now, this, I think, probably came out of this guy's shop. I see a lathe in the background. And Atlas MF horizontal milling machine, small vise and some tooling included. Overarm support is inserted in machine from behind in pictures. Various spacers and cutting included. For horizontal arbor mounted on a shop-made very heavy stand, magnifying lamp, and small shop vac mounted to stand included. Big picture, same way. Yeah, this is the arbor and the mount coming through. Now it's got this lock handle on here, and there's 2 holes in the front. No idea what that's for. That does nothing as far as I'm concerned. Got the 2 handles on top. None of the handles appear to be broken. Outlet mounted on the side with a switch here. That's probably for the lamp and that type of thing. Does have a arbor here, some spacers, and there's some slitting saws and a couple other cutters. I didn't look at that very closely. It does have the overarm cover. So no original stand underneath it. You know, I honestly believe $1,000 machine. You get more than that in these machines, and you know, you're spending too much money. You know, it's got a few cutters here, which maybe they're worth something, maybe not. Now, one thing I did note, and I'm not sure because I didn't look, this universal joint does not look proper to me. They have, normally I thought they had a short universal joint, and I didn't go back and look, but I believe we should have a little short universal joint like is on this upper end. On this back one, this is an awful long joint there. So that's probably not the best design if that is indeed true. This has got the earlier style. This hinge mount is cast in here, which I've got on one of my machines, I believe. The other machine that I'm putting together, I believe, has a bolt-on style where it was bolted on quite often. I've talked about it before. You see these hinges, the bottom portion is a separate piece and is bolted on with two screws to the main casting to operate that door. Got an arbor driver with it. Like I say, one arbor. That's probably a 1-inch arbor, I'm guessing. Now see, this upper casting, and I believe this is original, but this is a rough looking casting. When you see the other side, it's ragged looking too. This machine's been around for a while. You know, all the paint's gone on the cover. Got some corrosion stuff on the overarm, which doesn't affect anything, but there again, for your $1,300, this is a $1,000 machine. Got a drawbar in it, motor underneath. You know, now there's an extra motor fitting here, so there's been some wiring stuff done. I don't know exactly what, but there's been some stuff. Got the later style guards on it. This is the guard that swings out. There's your hinge assembly for that. And I think that's all we've got. So anyway, you know, there again, relatively complete machine. Looks not too awful bad, but is it worth $1,300? I personally don't think so. I think that's too much money for these machines. Okay, now these are parts that were listed, I noticed yesterday or the day before. And these are all from the same seller. He's parting out a machine, which of course pisses me off, but nonetheless. Atlas horizontal milling machine, overarm support, bearing bracket, and shaft, pre-owned, $150 and $12.95 shipping. These are this is the overarm shaft and support. Let's see what it says. Very good used condition. Yeah, very good condition is all it says. Okay. If we look at this picture, this is not a bad looking, but this is not factory. This is someone's built arm here and the bracket. And we know that because it's flat on both ends. The original Atlas stuff would have been beveled here and would have been had a center pip in there for center drills in both ends. Didn't have any function as far as I know at all. It was mainly cosmetic. But so this is someone's made up shaft along the way, and the overarm bracket. Now, when I priced this material before, why I think these were about $50 for the piece of shafting itself, and then the bracket. And I say these brackets are worth about $60, you know, $70 now. I've not looked at the cost of material for this shaft, and I believe this is 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches. I've said before, and I don't remember off the top of my head. And it doesn't matter what kind of shafting. It doesn't have to be precision. This can be cold roll, and it works just fine. All it is a support sticking out there to support the other end of your arbor. Haven't priced material here in the last couple of months, and material has taken a tremendous jump. So while I think $150 is an awful lot of money to spend for these, or $160 by the time you pay shipping, that may not be a bad deal. You know, it's not a good deal, but it may not be a too out of sight deal. So pays your money, takes your chances. Be an informed buyer. Now the next two, these are from the same seller, and I think these are the only two that we either haven't talked about or that are interesting enough to talk about. And these would have come off of that same machine. Atlas MH horizontal milling machine, table feed gearbox for rapid production, $175 and $12.95 shipping. This is the table feed assembly for the production mill. Very good condition. I bet it says the same thing in the description. I don't remember. Rapid production table feed gearbox, very good condition. This is the box you need for the hand lever control on the Atlas MH. Is it the B? Is it the MHB? Anyway, this is a gearbox. This will mount underneath on the cross slide assembly. It is bolted on with 2 bolts and pins. This rack, or this gear, engages the rack on the bottom of the table and traverses it. Your handle, and I'm not sure, let's look at the rest of these pictures and see. I don't believe the handle is here with it. No, it's not. So this is just the gearbox. You need the longer handle, which is kind of a specialized handle that goes on this end, and it's normally clamped on solid. These were not a one you took on and off. It just, the handle was bolted on and it retained there. $175. No. Okay, so he wants $175 and $12.95 shipping. It's not. There's no reason to buy this. You don't want to try and convert a machine over. And let's look at his other piece real quick, and then I'll tell you why on both of these. He has the knee assembly with cross-feed screw rapid production, and it does have the extra handle to it. He wants $300 and $30 shipping. Very good used condition. Assembly with cross-knee give and rapid production knee lift. Very good condition. This is the description. So, if we look at the pictures, this is the knee that you need. It does have this is your rapid production handle. and it runs a gear back here that engages on the rack on the main column casting. So this raises and lowers it. Your crossfeed was done with a conventional screw. So this is all proper for that machine. It's got the gib, good, bad, otherwise. You do not have the stop screw, top and bottom stop screw that goes here, which is just a threaded rod, basically, with nuts that you set the position of. Now, let's look at the rest of the pictures. He's got 3 more pictures here. Yeah, see, this is the handle. This is the same handle that would be bolted onto the gearbox that he's selling in the previous listing. And this doesn't look bad. I mean, this is not a bad-looking casting setup. It's actually got the little gib lock here, which normally they'll rob those off and try and sell them separately. And the last picture is, yeah, here's the other end of your shaft, and that engages to raise and lower the whole assembly. So that's the way it works. $300? No. So you've got $475. And what you want to bear in mind with this is this will not work with a standard table. You have to have the production table, because if you're using the rapid production handle on it, or the gearbox that he's selling previously, it has to engage in the bottom of the rack on the production table, and it is different than the standard table. So doesn't work. Don't get sucked in. Don't get sucked in by these guys. So you've got $475. You still have to have a table. You don't have your adjustment rods there, and I'm sure there's some other little gizzies along the way that you actually need to make this work the way it is. Why do you want to invest $500 in the production tables are neat. They're kind of like my little turret lathe. You don't run them very often. They're good for little one-off things if you're doing a small production run of one small item. Otherwise, these are not a good investment. Don't waste your money on this stuff. Don't waste your money. Okay, that's all we've got under mills. And if we look at lathes very quickly, first listing, and I'm not going to look at this, 618 Craftsman 101 metal lathe hand wheel, handle part number 9104, $9 buy it now, and $5.95 shipping. It's a good looking little hand wheel, but it's threaded on the end. And he says, well, I'm not sure about the application, but it was in a box of Atlas stuff that he had, and whatever. But these were not threaded, so this is not even an Atlas handle, so ignore that one. Somebody's got a 10-inch lathe tumbler hanger assembly, 10-1502, wants $95.99 and $9.95 shipping. This is the tumbler hanger that goes on a quick change gearbox. No, that's stupid. Why would you need it? There's a bunch of other Atlas parts down here nothing that I think is really even worth listening or looking at. Now on down here, somebody's got a original Atlas Craftsman 10-12-inch lathe threading thread dial, pre-owned, $29.99 and $10.90 shipping. This one's painted up blue. If you want to go look at it, you can. For $30 and $10 shipping, $40 for a threading dial. There's only the one picture, but it doesn't look bad. You know, if you really do need a thread dial for a 10 or a 12-inch, this may not be a bad thing. I think it's a little bit high, but in this day and age, that's not I don't think that's too far out of line. And the only other thing that I was going to look at here, oh no, he's got a couple. I think there's a couple on down here. Original vintage Atlas Craftsman 10-12-inch lathe lead screw bearing bracket, 10F16 pre-owned. And this is a standard lead screw bearing bracket. Looks like it was probably painted blue, and it is from the same seller that's got the thread dial. He wants $49.99 and $10.90 shipping. A standard lead screw bearing bracket, a used one, is worth $20. $20. You know, maybe 5 more in the door. There's no $60 is way too much. $20 in the door, well, 25 in the door, maybe. You know, if you're going to be generous to them. Don't get sucked in. Now, there are several 12-inch metal lathe parts here. And I believe there's 4 of them that I'm looking here that I've kind of glanced at. Let's see if there's 3 or 4 very quickly before I get too involved in this. Okay, there's 3 of them here. I think there's 4. Yeah, there's 4 of them here. Now this is one of, there's 4 listings, and this is a seller that, as far as I am concerned, is trying to make his yearly quote on sales right here on these 4 items. And I'm speculating, but I would imagine I'm pretty right. First listing here, and these were up a couple of days ago, yesterday something. Atlas Craftsman 12-inch metal lathe tailstock, pre-owned, $295 with no bids and $43.56 shipping. So we'll look at the first one and then we'll go back through. And I'll look at the first picture and then I'm just going to describe the other ones because I'm not going to spend the time. Atlas Craftsman 12-inch metal lathe tailstock. Good used condition, operates good, shows signs of use. It needs some cleaning. It was pretty clean when I acquired the machine. The machine was sitting in the back of a garage on a bench behind a set of shelving racks. It had no motor and the bull gear was badly stripped. Looked like it had been there for a long time. I did not think that the lathe was used a lot. There weren't any metal chips on or in or on it. The clamp is missing. Check all pics. Last shows the machine that it came from. Weight 20 pounds. All sales final. Now my speculation is, and this is not a bad looking tailstock, that you would give $125 for. $100 for and 43 shipping, $125, less than $200. You should have it in your door. Less than $175. You should have it in your door. Not a bad looking tailstock at all. Got an oil dauber on it. You know, it's got paint chipping and things like that. The handle's there. I'm going to just look at the pictures here. Not really stained up bad. It is in pretty good condition. Scraped here. Inside the bore looks okay. That'd probably clean up all right. Not a bad looking tailstock. The problem I have with this whole assembly is this is the lathe that it was on. Now, and when you look at the bull gear right here, it is definitely stripped out. Usually that's from sticking a chuck on there or locking the back gear in place and then trying to force the chuck off if you've got it stuck, or slamming it on there really hard or something. So on these AMAT gears, so it's took a big hunk out of this. Now, this, if I was doing anything with this lathe, and I don't see, you can't tell if there's a back gear assembly with it or not. So, but this to me, it would be a decent machine to find a new bull gear for. Maybe invest $100 because he wants $300 for the tailstock. The way he describes this, he found this at an estate sale. He found it at a yard sale that was sitting back, probably an estate sale, I'm guessing. And he gave $300 for this whole machine, if that, you know. And one of the big things that he drove the price down on buying it was because it has stripped out bull gear. This machine's a piece of crap. It's no good. You know, it's going to take a lot of money to fit. I'll give you $250 for it. I'll give you $300, and they probably took it. The heirs probably took that from an estate sale, and he bought this whole machine for $300 or less. So that's the machine it came from. Now, when you go down to the rest of his listings, right on down here, and I'm not going to stop and look at them, but this is what disgusts me about it. He's got the gearbox for sale. He wants $750 and another $47.56 shipping. And these are all bids. There's no bids on this. He's got the carriage saddle apron assembly with compound. He wants $550 for it and $65.69 shipping. And then he's got the bed for it that he's trying to get another $350. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9... $1,650, $1,780, $1,950, and then shipping on top of that another, what, one, oh, he wants $163 for the bed for shipping, $162, $30, another $330, $350 to ship it. So this is nothing but a flagrant ripoff as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, that's I'm going to leave that there. Now, the thing I did want to talk about just very quickly is I'm hearing from a lot of new machine owners that are buying machines, whether they're off of Fleabay, whether they're from an auction site, whether they're they were grandpa's machine, whatever the case may be, dad's machine that he's given to you to put into your garage so you can get started, whatever the case may be there. and this is directly at new owners that don't have much, if any, experience with these machines. You see a lot of guys on the internet that have been working with machines for quite a while, and I'm guilty of it too, because I've been dealing with machines in one capacity or another for 30 years now. So we'll take a machine that we've got, and my Sheldon is a perfect example, except I still am not, well, I'll get into that. But you see in these guys that will get a new machine that have got a lot of experience, and I know a couple of guys that kind of know what they're doing too, and they will get a new machine, whether it's a yard sale machine, whatever. They'll take it home and they take it apart completely. Take it apart to completely clean it up. The guys that are brand new to this have, I think, taken a lesson from that, and of course they're excited to have a new machine, and they want it to be nice and pristine and as nice as they can make it and everything. So they're going home and they're tearing their machines apart to find stuff that's wrong with them and cleaning them up. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you're brand new to this, you don't know, and this is not being callous, but you don't know what the heck you're doing. Don't take the machines apart, because you have no real idea of where you're starting. So not only do you not know where you're starting, but you don't know where you're going to, other than you want a nice shiny machine that's nice and tight and gives you these super precision machine parts that you may very well not be capable of producing yet. Okay? Take your new machine, get it home, take some solvent if you want to, spray it down, but don't take it apart. I don't care how grungy and dirty it is, don't take it apart. Spray it down with some solvent, and it doesn't have to be expensive solvent. Go to Harbor Freight and get you a $10 gallon of, whatever their cheap solvent is. Put it in a spray bottle, mix it up to a fairly heavy consistency. Spray the thing down, get the grime and the grit and the crap off of it to where it is, fairly clean. Don't be moving stuff around too much yet, but get it cleaned up. Take some lube, whether it's, if nothing else, take some non-detergent motor oil. Don't even worry at this point in time about going and investing in whey lube and all this other stuff that, yeah, you're going to benefit and is going to help your machine down the road and help it last. But you don't even know what you got. Get it cleaned up enough, get some lubricant in all the bearings, on the ways, on all the moving parts, on your lead screws and everything. Get the machine running, and as you get it loosened up and running and can clean it up more by hand, just clean it up and then start running it. Use your machine and find out what it's going to do. As your skills build and as the deficiencies of the machine start to show up, you're going to know what you need to do. But the idea of immediately tearing apart a machine, you don't know if you've got anything to start with. So that's the best advice that I can give you. There's lots of stuff, and I'll do something to go into this a little bit more in depth in a video just directly aimed at this, because I'm seeing a lot of guys ask me questions about parts and about things like that, whether it's privately or whether it's in the comment section on some of these videos, that are, I got this new machine and I went home and I tore it apart because, and now I need this and this and this. Well, yeah, you probably did need this and this and this, especially if I'm selling it to you. I want you to buy it because I think you need this and this and this. But for your enjoyment, for the best utilization you're going to get out of your machine at this point in time, if you're just starting out, clean it up, get it running, get the things going. Like, make sure you got a motor that's going to run for you. Make sure you've got movement on the machine. Make sure you don't get to a certain point and it just goes clunk because something's broke or bent or not right. And when you find those things, yeah, that stuff's going to have to be replaced. But for the most part, most of the things that are on the machine are going to work for you. It's going to be a machine that you can start playing with and start learning with. So don't be in a hurry to tear them apart, because you're not going to get it probably back together to the same tolerances or tightness that it was before you tore it apart, because you don't really know how to set those yet. So that's my best advice. Hopefully that helps you a little bit and gives you a little bit more enjoyment and usefulness out of your machine. So anyway, if you haven't hit that subscribe button and find this useful, I would appreciate it. Comments, suggestions, leave them in the comments section for me below. And as always, guys, enjoy your day and thanks for taking the time to watch.